During the course of the 3 years almost that Dataversity has been going, I have come across a lot of conversations about biodata systems, the systems themselves, the requirements for the systems, and the organisations that are involved in biodiversity data management in New Zealand, and some questions about practices that may or may not relate to systems, but good practices related to biodata management. And I've seen a lot of these have been discussed in our workshops, and a lot of this has been discussed in the discussion forum online, and quite a bit of it's been discussed in phone calls and small meetings. And this is all very interesting stuff that is potentially relevant to everybody in Dataversity. And it's raised the question for me: how can people who don't know about don't know what's known about these things get access to it? So in response to that, with Charlotte's help, I built a thing on the Dataversity website, which is accessible under that there, that is called a system guide. And this system guide has stuff in it about, I'm not sure you can see that, still probably can't, about the organisations involved in biodiversity data management, the requirements that particularly local government has for systems, some of the good practices and some of the systems that are actually there. And I will show you in due course that you can edit this system guide. You could think of it, if you like, as your Wikipedia for biodata management in New Zealand, particularly with a focus on local government. This is, top left is the main navigation for the system guide. It's got these 4 sections: organisations, requirements, practices, and systems. And I'll look at organisations first. So this gives, it's a bit hand-wrangled, so it tends to become out of date as soon as more people get engaged with Dataversity, but it's not, we still consider it worth doing. So here's a list of some of the regional councils involved and some of the people. For each council, you've got an idea of some of the people who are involved. See, Nancy, we don't even have you there, I'm sorry. Some of the practices that we know are well developed in these organisations that we've got documentation about, and some of the systems that are in use there. I'm going to zoom in for the sake of readability, even though you might miss the things. A bunch of unitary councils, some city councils, and quite a considerable list of district councils. Some companies are involved with Dataversity, or at least involved with biodata management. Listed here, CRIs, some funding schemes, some government departments and ministries, and a bunch of networks. So we're attempting to map the biodata landscape in New Zealand here. The idea with this requirements section is that if anybody in local government is embarking on a process of acquiring a system to do some biodata management, one of the first things you're going to need to do is get a definition of the requirements. And unless every local authority in New Zealand truly is unique, it's likely that some of these requirements will be in common to more than one organisation. So the goal here is that there's a bunch of templates for requirements documentation that you could get access to, which will get you a good start down the process of defining your own requirements. Now, how this set of templates will get populated is if you already are writing requirements for biodata systems, and you have the freedom to do so, contribute your requirements to this repository so that other people can get access to them. And even if that wouldn't constitute a generic set of requirements, at least it would be a starting point for someone else's requirements, or a starting point for a generic set of requirements which might come about if we had 3 or 4 people working on a similar project who decided to work on a generic set first and then adapt them for their individual contexts. We've started to divide these requirements up into the kinds of uses and business and user uses that there are for biodata systems. The practices section has grown out of it grew considerably out of the conversations we had at the last Dataversity national meeting. So you'll be familiar with some of these things. This is probably the least populated section of the system guide, so I won't drill into the detail here, but I'll invite you to have a look around in due course.